welcome back to the AL Central Rundown. I'm Eric, and with me today is.
I'm Lee.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Dan.
And for the first time, well, not for the first time, because we talked about it a little bit last week, the Tigers are on a spiral. We're gonna talk about that in just a bit, but let's look at the standings. Let's look at all this good stuff, shall we? The standings. Detroit still up by a lot, but it's now 7 games, which, considering it was nearly double that last week,
Mm.
boy, it looks a lot worse than it actually is. They've gone 1-9. They're on a 6-game losing streak. They're facing, a first ballot Hall of Famer today, Max Scherzer. 0-0 at the top of the third. Cleveland is just pulling a Cleveland. They're now coming back to life on a heater, 7-3 in their last 10, back up to 500. So now a team that we probably thought was all going to sell might be actually bringing someone in. The
Please know that
Royals.
the Guardians are currently doing that against the A's and the Orioles and the Royals. So they're not exactly facing the cream of the crop here, but they are winning.
You
But
gotta
they're not
win.
doing it against good teams. Let's just
I'd
put
like
that
to
out
point
there.
out to my fine colleague from Detroit that the Guardians have the easiest strength of schedule the rest of the way. So
Would you
if
like to
she is a
see
little
who is
perturbed at the opponents right
just
now, don't expect that to change anytime soon.
just below that? Just below Cleveland is the Tigers at like 26th or something.
Yeah, the entire
So
division except for I think the White Sox have like a middle of the pack, and then the Royals I think are in the bottom. So, because also keep in mind, now Cleveland's now at 500, but as of yesterday, 4 teams had losing records. So yes, everyone's schedule is going to look a lot easier when that change
yeah,
happens.
schedule is easy. We all play each other and we all suck.
Anyway, the Royals have been holding water. They're 3 games under 500. The Twins going further underneath water, 4 games under 500. And then the White Sox actually kind of on a heater. We're going to talk about them in a little bit. For all of that, the playoff odds. The Tigers are still 95%. Oh no, they are. Oh my goodness, I just lost it. Oh my goodness.
96.8.
96.8%. Wow, can't find anything. They're still going to make the playoffs. This is just a fun little spiral for them. The wild card, though, looks kind of gettable for Cleveland. They're 3 games back. They have to jump Tampa and then Texas, who's really coming on, and then the Royals 4.5 game back. The Twins 5 games back. I'm basically we'll talk about what the Twins are going to do at the trade deadline, but team pitching, same stories all year. Kansas City, Detroit, Cleveland above league average, and then the White Sox, and then the Twins are really starting to struggle with starting pitching. The batting, still the Tigers, and then a big drop off: Twins, Guardians, White Sox, Royals. Talk about those in a bit. So I can tell it's going to be a feisty episode. So
I'm tired, boss. I just want the Tigers to start winning again. That would be really nice. I don't like
Lee,
this.
how I know you want them to win. This has been this has been the worst they have looked in probably over a year. And then Cleveland, like, just will not go away. They're constantly right behind. I know but they're also 7 games back. So
It doesn't make me reassured at all. Just so you know, I do not feel reassured. I'm not fully convinced that they're not going to just continue spiraling and then miss the playoffs and in typical Detroit sports fashion, just completely fall apart for no
and that
reason.
is possible, but I still think they have the largest division lead. If not, they have one of. I'd have to look at what the NL is doing, but I don't think they still have 60 wins. They're still doing fine, but yes, they've had a pretty rough couple of weeks.
They're bad. It's bad. They look horrible. I haven't seen them play this bad since like 22. It's
Well, yes, when you go 1-9, you're gonna look bad. Like,
it's
of
not
course,
just one
it's
and nine.
scrappy
It's
baseball.
1-13.
Okay, same thing. Yeah, it happens. Dan, how much what is Cleveland? What are they?
Cleveland is an enigma. Um,
Yes.
let's remember now, I'm feeling pretty good this week, and I have for a couple weeks now. We got together 2 weeks ago, and the statement at that point in time was oh, well, there's 4 teams in front of the Guardians in the wild card. There's no way, even if they're only 4.5 games, they can't jump all those teams. Then we got together last week. Oh, there's 3 teams in front of the Guardians for the wild card. Get together this week. Oh, there's 2 teams in front of the Guardians for the wild card. Uh, the division lead has been cut in half from 14 to 7. Things are trending the right direction right now.
Yeah.
But let's not forget, it was 3 weeks ago that the Guardians themselves were in the midst of a 10-game losing streak. Life comes at you fast in this game sometimes, and um, it's very easy to get over enthused or under enthused by a 15-game span in a 162-game season. I still feel like this isn't a team that's a serious World Series contender, and therefore, what are we really doing if we're going to mortgage a bunch of stuff for 2025? But ultimately, I think the answer is probably about where it's been, in that this is going to be some sort of soft sell where they try to make the team moderately better for this year and really better for 2026. If they can make something out of this year yet, that's fantastic. But really, the goal should be next year and really challenging Detroit for the division next year. So I'd rather see winning baseball, and that's wonderful. And I'm glad we're getting that. And I'd rather they make the playoffs, but I just don't want them to do anything too extravagant to try to make something out of 2025 at this point.
Right.
Um, that's really the overarching thought on my end of things.
Do you feel like, I think somebody said this a while back, but someone in this division is always in free fall. Somebody is always ascending, and the rest are just kind of meh. And there's no, like, I don't. It's almost like they're taking turns. So like the Tigers finally just collectively the division just said, "Tag, you're it," and then just ran away.
As you were putting up the standings earlier, the thought I had is only one team in our division allowed to be good at a time?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
It certainly feels that way. But Sam, how you feel about 5-5? And then we're going to talk about the Tigers for a bit.
I had a similar thought the other night to Dan, which was that at this point now, every team in this division has had a stretch where they've just been absolutely terrible. A 1-9 stretch or like a 10-game losing streak or something like that. That's been the story for all these teams. There's been a lot of ups and downs throughout the year. But I think for the Royals, I think they are what they are at this moment. What they are right now is the team that they are.
Yeah.
They have some talent, they have a lot of holes, and they're going to sort of keep their heads above water for probably the rest of the season, and they'll be right around 500.
Yep.
And barring, maybe a stretch where they win 9 out of 10, I don't think that they're going to make much of a push for the playoffs this year. But I would say pretty much this is the exact spot that a team with this level of talent should be in. So, and we've talked a lot about, post All-Star break, pre-trade deadline. It's kind of an awkward uh, area in the MLB season, sort of like the week between Christmas and New Year's, where you don't know what day it is and you don't really know what your attitude should be. Um, but I think that, look, since the All-Star break, the Royals have been 4-4, and that's against the Marlins, the Cubs, and the Guardians.
Yep.
So a good team, a bad team, and an average team. So I would say that they're about where this is where they deserve to be.
Yeah, I've been pretty much beaten into submission with the Twins. They're selling. They're probably a 75 win team. They're just as likely to go win 15 games in a row after the trade deadline because they want to give like just another little dash of hopium for us. But I also realistically, I think they're gonna be much closer to a collapse after the All Star break because they could trade a bunch of players, and who knows what a veteran team does. Kind of giving up, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. But All right, Lee, you have some stats for the Tigers.
Yeah, the stats is that I'm depressed.
Well,
Yeah, I
why depressed? So
because
we'll pull these up here. So, you want to talk about the offense or the pitching first?
let's talk about the offense. So going into this, I'll just take a step back a little bit. Going into this season, the story for the Tigers was they are going to have good pitching. The offense is a question mark. And for the first 3 months of the season, it was wow, the offense is doing very good unexpectedly. This is awesome. Now, post All Star break, they suck offensively. The first at first it was against the Rangers, who have a very good pitching staff. So I was like, okay, I'm not. It's bad, but like, could be worse. I'm not going to get too worried about not being able to hit a very good pitching staff. Then it was against the Pirates, and I'm like, this. There's no excuse for this. And now it's against Toronto, and they can't hit, they can't score, they can't get on base. They're looking at 3 straight pitches and swinging and missing.
Sure.
I mean, you name it, they're doing it wrong, pretty
Well,
much.
let's
It's
look.
kind of.
Let's look at the offense in July. Let's look at the specific names and figure out who is who's who's
Do you want to
killing.
know who's underperforming? Everyone is underperforming, except maybe Torque. He's
Yeah.
doing pretty good in July.
I mean, specifically in July. What's the? Does anyone know what the league OPS is? Is it like 720 around there, ish?
I'd have to look it up.
I shouldn't have looked that up. Good for me.
Stand by.
Dan's got it.
What hurts is so Graber Torres, who's had a really good year so far, he slumped a little, but he's still 667. It's only been 20 games. Like, yes, he's in a slump.
He's still batting 250. He's still getting on base a ton. It's just the OPS is down.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. He's just not hitting. He's just
not
not
hitting
hitting.
hard.
He's slugging 309. Like, it's just a bunch of
Yeah.
empty singles, which is fine. Parker Meadows hitting an OPS of 453. That hurts. And then Baez, and I'm going to save my victory lap for later in the year, but Javi Baez OPS is 438, which is an OPS plus of 20 in August or in July. You have let's talk about Riley Green because he's interesting to me.
He's going through another slump where he's striking out 50% of the time. 34 strikeouts in July. It's bad. I think I
Yep.
saw at one point he's on pace for like 214 strikeouts on the year, which is, oh boy.
I mean, this is going to alarm you, but like I see his slash line for July is 192, 231, and then 466. That's like a Joey Gallo, Miguel Sano type slash line. Absolutely little contact, but smashing the ball when he gets it. He still has basically a 700 OPS. Yes, he's striking out too much, but I still don't think I'm not that concerned about him. Is there a lot of concern in Detroit?
There's a lot of concern about everything because everything is burning. So that's kind of like, yeah. If you ask, is there a lot of concern? The answer is yes for like literally everything. Uh, Nobody is happy. Obviously,
Right.
everyone is. If you ask the fan base, 50% of them are convinced we're going to miss the playoffs. I mean, it's bad. I haven't been on Twitter or Reddit at all. I've been avoiding 97.1 like the plague because it's all going to be this team sucks. They were overachieved. I mean, that's basically what everyone is. Everyone is basically the idea is. I'm trying to figure out how to put this. Everyone is convinced now that this 2 weeks is the real team, and what we saw the first 3 months was just a hot stretch.
I'm
Right,
sorry,
but-
that's absurd.
Right.
That's-
Yeah, that's. I
No,
mean,
the 3 months of sample, that's the red herring here, not the 2 week.
Well, it's not even 3 months.
No,
It's
they
going
were
back to
just
last August.
they were just
Yeah.
on a year-long hot streak.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, that's kind of what
this
everyone
is-
is saying. I mean,
This is beside the point, but I got into it with somebody on Reddit about a week ago about the Guardians for something similar, where like, oh well, they just overachieved in 2022 and 2024. I'm like, how do you overachieve for 2 years?
yeah.
Yeah.
Over a 3-year
Pe-
span.
Yeah. So I don't know. Sorry to jump in and say, but that kind of thing frustrates me, obviously. Um,
Yeah, it's
just to answer the question, league OPS for July is 727. The Tigers is 638, just for reference.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
That's the thing
not very
is
good, but
the offense that we're seeing now is more closely aligned to what we had expected versus what actually happened. Right? If that makes sense.
I mean, yes. I don't know if you would expect it to be this bad though, because you had higher hope for Parker Meadows. Baez is probably what you thought.
But
Torres
yeah,
was
it's.
around that, but
I'm not saying it's as bad as we thought it was going to be. I'm saying it's closer to what we thought there would be versus what actually happened. If that makes
sure,
sense. Yeah.
sure. I mean, that's. I mean, yes. The entire lineup for 3 months this year has been one of the best offenses in baseball. If four of those players suddenly take a step back in a slump, then yes, it's not going to be good results. But
Yeah.
I just want to. I kind of want to go back to like people overreacting to a 2 week stretch. Yes, it's a really, really crappy 2 week stretch, but if you're choosing to be pre-miserable about this and you are already like you want to tune out if you're already saying they're going to miss the playoffs, or you just want to crap on everyone that actually still believes in the team, that's the only two reasons you're saying that this team is
Yeah.
fake or fraud.
Yeah, we're Detroit sports is not a happy group in general,
Sure.
and I mean, everyone's comparing it to the Red
I
Wings the
wonder
past
why.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's comparing this to the Red Wings, who for the past 2 years have looked good for the entire season, only to collapse in March and barely miss the playoffs. So and like that happened this year, and so everyone's just expecting that to happen because that's just how Detroit sports goes. I mean, look at the entire history of the Lions end sentence like that right there. It's and it's not the same. You can't translate it across sports in any capacity, but it feels that way. It feels like it always happens. So it's everyone's just pre it's primed for something like this to happen because
Yes,
that's what always
I don't know. The
happens.
Lions were pretty good like 70 years ago.
it's true.
Yeah, 70 years
Why they're
ago, and
still
then
in
Bobby
Thanksgiving
Lane
game.
got traded to Pittsburgh, and everything was all downhill from there. Pretty much how it goes.
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. Let's talk about their pitching. Do you have anything like? Actually, let's talk about the offense. You had a couple things ready for that. Let me go to the pitching because to me, the pitching is what I would be more concerned about.
The pitching has been disgusting
Um,
in the worst way possible. It's
but
awful.
let's
I
finish
don't know.
the point on the offense quick, and then I
Yeah.
can actually kind of transition into it. But
Yeah. If you watch it later, we can look more on Fangraph stuff because this is all from Fangraphs. These are the points that I thought were interesting. So July 9th is the start of this losing stretch, is where I'm
yep,
defining it. So pre July 9th, slash line is 253, 324, 427. Good for 10, 10th, and 6th in the league.
I'm sorry.
Pretty good.
The
But
next one, the 30th.
yeah, yeah. Post July 9th, they are
Depressingly.
ass. They are batting 200 with the 267 on base and 302 slug. That's 30th, 30th, and 30th in baseball. And then pitching is where it gets even worse because previously to July 9th, they had an ERA of 346, third in the league. Post July 9th, 683. That's like a
Yep.
good one run worse than the 29th place.
Mm.
I'm
Yeah.
also. I mean, not to recall this, but does anyone remember how bad the Twins pitching was in June? It was in that ballpark.
Yeah, it's
Now,
this
I
is
I have a very important question for you, Lee.
okay.
This
Shoot.
photo of a tiger that says "I want to die" on it, is
Yes.
this an existing meme format?
This
I'm not
this is an
I'm not
existing
familiar
meme.
with this.
Yes, this is an existing meme format. I think the original one was the Miami Dolphins meme, but then the Lions fan base took it and edited it with the Detroit's background and a lion, and then the Tigers took that and it's the same thing. It's just a tiger. I want to die. It's a reoccurring bit for years. This is the thing. I didn't just make this up.
I have.
I
Okay,
had to share
Why
okay.
it
is there a rainbow?
because
Is it?
There's a
it's
double rainbow.
There is.
yeah.
And is it in
It's an
Miami?
inherent contradiction.
R.I.P.
It's an inherent contradiction. So it's very
this isn't related to this picture, but the Sam, who is that? Yolanda Ventura, off to the side.
Giordano Ventura.
He looks really excited to see that tiger, whoever that player is, on the
I
screen.
think this is Brady Singer.
No. On our screen, look at the screen
Oh,
and the background picture. Who is that?
oh, I can't see the background photo because it's covered by the
Anyway, I think
slide.
it's someone. I can't remember. It's from the World Series team, but
Okay.
whatever. It doesn't matter. He just looks really happy to see him. Anyway, soft hit rate.
Yeah, so these are, I thought, interesting. So FIP and XFIP is where it was really interesting, right? And then, yeah, so pre-July 9th, FIP versus XFIP, 6th versus 5th for expected versus actual. Post-July 9th, it's 25th for actual FIP, and then 7th for expected FIP, which I think is interesting. I don't know what that means.
Crappy luck.
They're getting really
Well,
crappy luck.
Actually, that probably means you're leaving too many balls over the plate. Because FIP is just talking about walks, home runs, and strikeouts. So it's probably too many fat pitches.
To just jump in here for a second, though, that deviation between FIP and XFIP is really interesting, which is a very nerdy thing to say, admittedly, but
it's the
I think it is.
biggest in this
That
time
tells,
period. It's the biggest difference between FIP and XFIP.
because
By a
to me,
lot.
what that's saying is the batted balls that are occurring are leaving the yard. Because as Eric was saying a minute ago, there's only three things that go into FIP: home runs, walks, strikeouts. The difference here is balls were leaving the yard. They were going
Yep.
over the fence. But by StatCast, they shouldn't have been. I don't know where you guys have been playing, if you've been playing in a bunch of small ballparks. There's been some wall scrapers happening, is what's been going on. Some balls have been going over the fence that maybe wouldn't have in different ballparks. To me, that's why to me, I'm not as worried about the Tigers pitching because I think they're giving up a bunch of gopher balls that maybe if they were in different ballpark, maybe in the heat of July, I don't know. But it just
See, you
that
say
that
that
seems interesting to me.
most of the home runs the Tigers have given up occurred in the Seattle series in Comerica. That's not a place where you get a bunch of, oh, that's 1 in 30 parks. That's a home run. That's
That's
And
true.
then I put in the soft, medium, hard percent because I wanted to look at that. It's not exactly promising. They're getting hit harder than they were before. They're not getting as much soft contact. Is basically the story there.
Is this for pitching or is this for hitting?
This is for that's for pitching.
Okay.
So it's basically, so for like hard hit percent, 36.6%. That's the 7th highest hard hit percent, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So
Do you know what
before
league
they were,
average is?
I don't know. I just look on
That's
Fangraphs
fine. We can just
in
move
terms
on
of
with it.
range.
Like that's where I mean these are interesting and like you can context it with the rank in MLB, but I'd be interested to see like how far or below or like what the league average is for them. But
Yeah, I don't know if Fangraphs is like a league average type of thing. But right now they're not giving up as much soft contact as they were before, and they're giving up a lot more hard contact.
well, let's look at player by player here because I mean you can see their league OPS plus. So like Scooble is at the top here. He's given up an OPS against of OPS plus of 48. Casey Mize looks like he's having his BABIP is 413. That is laughably bad. Like
Flaherty too. He's gonna have BABIP of 432.
and then same thing with Diedrich Enns, who's pitched just as much as Casey Mize. He has 432, 413 for them.
Mize's last 2 starts, he went 3 innings.
Yeah. It's that dang all-star curse is what it is.
Yeah. It's
I mean
I don't have any
I'm
good
really
answers.
glad.
I don't know what's going on.
I really gotta say, I'm really glad my name isn't Dietrich.
Diedrich. It's very German.
I'm gonna
Tigers
go.
have a lead. 3-0 lead. Oh, Gleyber Torres had a 3-run home run. That's nice.
I'm gonna thank my parents for not naming me Dietrich.
Dietrich. Yeah, that's a fun name. He went to Central Michigan actually. It was a fun story for a little bit because he had one start where he went 5 scoreless and everyone's like, "Oh, that's really cool," and then he sucked. So
Sure.
yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. Like I think I just said I'd be more concerned about the pitching. I should have said I was more interested in the pitching because it just seems like there's a ridiculous amount of bad luck that's being involved, which is kind of a scapegoat answer to see. The offense has been pretty bad, but when you have three guys on your pitching staff with a 400 plus BABIP, what do you expect to happen? you
And
know,
Peter Montero's been getting hit pretty hard too. I mean, I don't know. Like I'll be honest, I haven't been watching the game since he missed home plate tagging on a sack fly incident because I don't want to get hurt right now. And also I've been at work a bunch during the games, but that's yeah. I mean, they're just pitching horribly. I don't know what it is. Like that sounds really whiny, but they can't go more than the starters can't go more than 4 innings.
but I
The
think we just
batters can't
talked
get
about.
anything.
I think we just talked about what it is. It's their xFIP is much better than their actual. Like I think there is a fair amount of bad luck, unless you just think the entire bullpen just forgot how to pitch in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. And Chase Lee came in last night and gave up 3 home runs in an inning.
Like I was saying in our group, like I watched those home runs. Again, they were second row of
Yeah.
they weren't moonshots. Nobody hit a
in Comerica.
450
I'm not
foot,
gonna.
120-mile-an-hour exit velo home run. So I
My
do really
apologies
think
if I'm
it's
not
an
putting.
point.
Oh, there were wall scrapers in Comerica on the top of my
I get
positive
it.
outlooks list.
Right.
I get it. Comerica isn't exactly the Great American Ballpark or something, or whatever they call it in Cincinnati. Now I get the point, but to
Great
me, that
American
just
Small Park.
yeah, that
Oh,
that
that's
just
funny.
seems like the obvious answer. I will say, like I was saying, I'm more concerned about the offense, and this is a
See,
mix of kind of an old school take and a new school take. But I looked at a couple of those things last night. I looked at two individual players, Colt Keith and Winfield Perez, because they were two guys that were in the top 6 in plate appearances for Detroit, and they weren't the top 3 guys because Torque's been fine. Um, I forget who's second. Uh, but Riley Green. Riley Green is just doing what Riley Green does. He's going to
Right.
strike out a bunch, and in 2 weeks he'll be hitting dingers again. Oh, but Colt Dingler was the third one. He's been great
Mhm.
during this. As much as I've given Dylan Dingler grief for his lack of walking, he's been very good. But Perez and Colt Keith, pitchers are pitching them differently, actively. That is what's happening. Colt Keith has an ex WOBA of like 439 on pitches up and
Mm.
in. That's
Wow.
Shohei Ohtani has a xFIP of 435 for the season, to give you some context. Pitchers aren't throwing Colt Keith up and in anymore. He's seeing more sliders. They're not pitching him up and in. Perez, uh, he's not getting pitches up in the zone, like up, but in the zone. Those have completely dissipated. I don't know if that was an active decision or pitchers are just pitching him better. They're taking him more seriously because he's establishing himself as a major leaguer. Ultimately, what I see with the offense, if this really is something to be concerned about, it's because you've got a bunch of young players that have finally gotten some plate appearances under their belt,
and the league is
and the
figuring out how to
league
pitch
is
them.
learning
Yeah.
what they are. That
And
would be if I Lee, if I were to have a nightmare, if I were you, it would be that. It would be, oh no, the league is getting a book on our guys. That would
that's
be
a
my
good point.
one
Well,
concern.
how much? How much? Because like the book on Riley now it changes. Like even Keith is new, Dingler's new, but like Torres, Green. I guess Torkelson, he probably has to. He's going to have a round of adjustments coming up. But I feel like
But
these are
even
they're
I feel
young,
like
but they're
those
more
guys have been
experienced.
around a little more than like. I mean, it
Yeah.
was Keith's first year in the bigs last year.
Yep.
Perez is fairly new.
Yeah, Perez has
Um,
debuted last year too. He hasn't played as much
McKinstry
as
hasn't.
Keith though.
McKinstry's not hitting like an all-star. I didn't deep
Yeah.
dive on him, but he's not hitting.
Oh, you got all staticky there.
He hasn't necessarily. Uh,
Oh, now it's working. There you go.
Zach
You broke through it.
McKinstry. You were saying something about him.
did that break up?
It did.
Yeah.
I was just saying about McKinstry that he hasn't been playing like an all-star in this span either. He wasn't necessarily an everyday player until this year, if I'm not mistaken either. So it seems like guys that didn't get a lot of exposure before this year, or before maybe this hot stretch last year,
Mhm.
scouting is catching up, potentially.
Yeah.
If this is a thing, I think that would be the concern.
Yeah, that's
But
scary. That's
the,
not good.
the last thing I'll say is if some dude in Cleveland, Ohio can go on StatCast and figure that out, I'm sure the Detroit
Tigers,
Tigers
yeah.
front office can figure it out too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Hopefully they can do stuff there. I don't know. I'm just having I'm having a really hard time seeing the light at the end of this tunnel. I mean, this is from OptaStats. The Tigers are the only MLB team in the modern era to have a 13 game span where they were outscored by 50 or more, out hit by 50 or more, had fewer than 25 extra base hits, struck out 125 more times.
Right. That's somebody searching StatHead to put the Tigers
I
in the
was
worst
just about
possible
to
light.
say, yeah.
Like that's you're
Mhm.
you're filtering to make the Tigers look crappy. And here's the thing:
Yeah.
their record the last 17 games makes them look crappy. You don't like. I understand
They
you
were
want to,
somehow still the first team to 60 wins. It's hilarious to me.
and they're still
Somehow.
apparently
They're
they
still
they
7
said they're
games up.
fine.
They
Like,
still have. They got to 60, and they were
we're
like, "We're
done.
done."
That's all we need to do.
Yeah, it's
I did say 4 teams are going to get to 60 wins around the same time this year. That could still happen
I
technically.
was about to say, just the Tigers got there 3 weeks ago and just like, come on, guys, we're letting you catch up. Like,
Well, you guys made we got so lonely at the top, and you all made losing look like so much fun. We wanted to join you.
yeah, and still 7 games above. I don't know. Like, I overall, I'm really, if I was, I would be very frustrated as a Detroit fan. I'm big picture wise not that worried yet.
The thing is, I'm not even surprised. I'm like, yep, this is gonna. Of course, this happens. This is just how it goes. It's. I guess I'm just prepared for disappointment so much. It's
We all are.
yeah, this is. I mean, this is mostly just me whining, but I'm also very tired. I mean, it's not even that the batting, that the offense is bad. It's not even that the pitching is bad. It's that the defense and the base running and everything else about it is
Right.
bad. Do you know how many errors they've had in the last 2 weeks? I didn't bother and go counting because I know it's awful. There was one of the Pirates games where they lost 8-5 because yeah, we got swept by the Pirates, who the immediate series before had gotten swept by the White Sox. So by transitive property, we got swept by the White Sox, if you want to put it that way. One of those games, the Tigers did. McKinstry flubbed a throw from third to first. It got past Torque. Torque turned his back to the field with players on, walked to the ball, and then the Pirates scored.
Hmm.
Perez tagged on a sac fly, ran home, missed home plate, and didn't score.
Sure.
I mean,
I mean, that's evidence of a young team trying really hard to come out of a cold streak.
yeah,
Like, that's
there was a quote from AJ Hinch. I'm not going to pull it up because it's really long, but he basically said that the team is trying too hard.
mhm.
Like they'll go out and one bad thing will happen, and then they'll just fall apart because everything is going wrong. And so you got that one bad thing happen, like the opponent scores
Right.
first, and then they just panic, swing at everything, and can't score.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gripping the
So
bat too tight.
And not for now. Who in the like? It's Torres is probably who's a veteran on the Tigers that has kind of gone through. Is it Torres, Baez? Is that it?
Veerling is a veteran, but like he's not that old. I mean, in terms of bats,
Flaherty
yeah, it's
for the pitching.
Flaherty.
Yeah.
Yeah, been pitching, but I think he's about the same age as
Which
Scooble.
two of
Keenly,
those
it's like
two of those have a World Series. Like you they. I mean, yes, you need your clubhouse leaders to probably step up and just stop the snowball. But like, here's the Tigers' record is going to look shitty for July. It's not going to change. They have only a couple games left. Just turn the calendar over and
yeah,
continue in August. And I don't know, like it sounds a lot easier, but like you can't dwell on what you've done the last 2 weeks. Win tomorrow. And when you win tomorrow,
yeah,
you're still going to be 2-8 in your last 10. Well, win the next day. You're still going to be 3-7. That's still going to be a monkey on your back for the next week until you get better.
yeah. They're currently on pace to score fewer runs in the month of July than the 2019 Tigers did. the 2019 Tigers that won approximately 3 games more than the 2024 White Sox. They were
Right, but
horrendous.
that's going back into the we're just going to filter a stat head search until we
Yeah.
make Detroit look as bad as possible. Like
Yeah,
I
you're
understand
right.
you want I understand it's you I can we've all felt your pain. Detroit, we embrace you. Like we get it. Like I just
Sorry if I'm being too whiny about it. I guess I'm trying not to be too worried. By nature, I am a pessimist. I purposefully try to be an optimist because I think that's a healthier mindset to have. I'm having a really hard time
but
finding that light at the end of the tunnel.
you don't need to be pessimistic or optimistic. You just need to be realistic.
Yeah, I at the end of the day, I know I trust AJ Hinch to be able to turn this team around. Like I've said before, this team does not end seasons badly. Every single year since he's been the the since he's been here, the Tigers finish strong. So in the long run, I'm not worried about them not being able to finish strong. What I am worried about is that the offense is regressing and it's going to stay regressed. I think that's my biggest concern because that was the biggest question mark entering the season was what is this offense going to look like? And the answer was not good, but then it was good.
Right.
So and that was the biggest surprise was the offense was really good. And if
Well,
the offense is turning into what we thought of them, that's not good.
well, if
Also,
that's
I'm
the
worried
case
about
there.
the front office not doing shit over the trade deadline, but that's a separate worry. That's
I don't understand why you would have that thought.
it's trauma. It's
That's
all
fine, but
the
again, we're going into this is where yes, it's not pessimistic. Like just they're going to buy. If this front
yeah.
office doesn't buy, that I'll be upset for you.
Not to give you more concerns, Lee, but I wouldn't be worried about if they're going to or not. I would just be worried about if they get it right.
Right.
That's like,
Yeah.
do they buy the right guy?
That's what I'm saying.
And by
I
the
need to
way,
just
the right guy is whoever happens to do really well in August and September and
Right.
October. Like you could
yeah.
pick the best player in the world, and it just plays out the way it does. Lane Thomas
Yeah.
last year is a fantastic example. He was dog water when we got him, and then he showed up in October.
Yeah,
So
I have 2 more points before we should probably just move on with this topic before we beat the dead horse into the ground anymore. Number one is I need to stay off the internet because half the fan base seems convinced that we should just
Correct.
not buy at the deadline. Pat Caputo, I think it was, a 97.1. I'm shouting him out because he's a moron because he was saying that we should sell and trade school in the off season. So yeah.
Easy talking points. Whatever.
And then my second, yeah, it's bad. And then my second point was, you know who we play next? We play Arizona at home. I'm just saying, Eugenio Suarez could come over here, and he just have to change locker rooms, and then he could just stay in Detroit.
I feel
That's
like
all
that
I'm gonna
happens
say.
suspiciously a lot. Like people when a team visits near the deadline, I feel like it happens every couple of years.
I'm
shout
just
out
saying,
to
it'd be really easy for him. He doesn't have to leave with Arizona. He can stay in Detroit, find a hotel on the 31st. Move locker rooms. It'll be really easy. He can get the home welcome
Sure.
right away. Anyway,
All right. So
shout out to
let's
Brad Pitt. Mark, I don't want Rincon pitching against me tonight. Moneyball? Anybody? No? Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I was there. I went to Juan Rincon. I thought of a Twins reliever for a minute, who was good for about a year and a half. All right, let's talk about. So none of us are fans of the White Sox. I think we can all agree they're just evil. Yeah, they're not good. But that they have been playing pretty good, so they definitely are worth being talked about. Now I understand. We're talking about since the All-Star break, and this thing I pulled up, it's literally 8 games. Can you pull a lot of out in 8 games? Not really, but this is like the first sign of life to me the White Sox have shown in, I don't know, 2 years? Since the All-Star break, they have an OPS plus. Their offense has an OPS plus of 136. They have oh my God, their slash line 296, 350, and then 822. What's encouraging, their BABIP is only 332, which is high, but not
It's not
out of the,
ridiculously high.
yeah, it's not out of the realm. Their last 28, they've been heating up gradually. It's in July they've had like started off 28 days ago with a 103 OPS plus, and they're at like the 130s right now. They're still below water for the offense or for the season, but I mean it's encouraging, and especially I'm not going to tell you Edgar Cuero is going to have a 1 point OPS because his BABIP is 367. But I mean that's exciting. He's a young player. Luis Robert is doing all he can to get his trade value up so he can get the hell out of Chicago. I feel like
Yeah, the Athletic called him the LVP because his one job was to get traded, and he was not doing that. But hey, maybe he will get traded now.
But I mean, Michael A. Taylor kind of doing the same thing. Like that, you have to go 8 deep before you find someone with an OPS that doesn't start with a 7 in July. Yes, they're having. I mean, some of their BABIPs are a little bit high. Like Robert is obviously pretty high, but Austin Slater has a 902 OPS. His BABIP is 269. Can't hate that. And then Andrew Benintendi has been fine. I don't know. Is anyone a believer in Andrew Benintendi anymore? I think where I would be a little bit like encouraged as a White Sox off of this, I feel like Meadroth, I think, is underperforming right now. He's also had some bad luck. Elko, I think, is a lot of swing and miss right now.
Well, he's only played 2 games in July, so.
Which I'd have to check to see if he's injured or if he's just a platoon bat at this point, but just interesting.
Colson Montgomery. I mean, can we shout him out?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Colson Montgomery. He like just came up, right? He was the guy that just came up. Yeah, he's been doing great.
17 games. What were you saying, man?
To that point, since the break, Chase Mydroth, 909 OPS. Miguel Vargas, another young guy, 999. So it's the young guys. That's a good thing.
Yeah, which is what they're going to need because they're about to have a bunch of veterans probably leave this team. The pitching, I mean, it hasn't been setting the world on fire, but it's certainly better. I mean, it's sustainable to me. They're going to trade Savali, and then Adrian Hauser is probably their best trade chip right now. I believe he's just going to be a rental, but I think they just signed him to a 1-year deal. So like that's went as well as it possibly can. Cannon has had a pretty decent month, and then Burke. Like there's life in Chicago.
Looking pretty good. I don't know why he's not pitching much. Is he a reliever now?
Who is it?
Tyler Alexander.
Yeah, he's really
injured. Okay, because he started off the season as a starter. So.
Oh.
Yeah. Former Tiger. So. I remember him more.
So I mean that's all I really had for the White Sox. I just thought it was they deserved to be shouted out because they're playing well. I'm sorry, Chicago, that we're not fans of your. We don't follow your team other than to hope that they have been the world's worst team, but good for them. Okay. Sam, do you want to talk a little bit about like what the Royals have been doing the last 24 hours, and then we can talk about trade targets?
Yeah, the Royals traded for Randall Grichuk last night. They traded away Andrew Hoffman, who is a rookie, 25-year-old guy, pitched about 3 innings for the Royals this year. Uh, Fine, I guess. Grichuk is a veteran, obviously. He's been around for a while.
Yeah, yes.
Not been terrible this year, had like a 99 OPS plus. You know, he's played 70 games, so
Lefty
sure.
specialist.
Yeah, why not? Bring someone in. Caglione got put on the injured list with a hamstring or
Yep.
left hamstring strain. Not that Caglione had been that good in the time that he's been up. Bubic also got put on the injured list. Royals are running low on pitchers with Reagan's. Reagan's has been on the injured list this year. Same thing with Michael Lorenzen. now Bubic. So, make a little move to supplement the injuries that you've had, I think is probably,
What is their starting rotation now? It's Lugo, not Cannon,
Cameron,
Cameron.
Waka,
Okay.
Rich Hill, I guess.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Dick
I
Mountain made his first start. How did he look?
And question mark, question mark, question mark
okay, fair enough.
is the
Bullpen games
fifth
after that.
starter. Yeah.
TBD.
Oh, never mind. Didn't they also sign Dallas Keuchel? Or did I make that up in my head?
Oh yes, yeah, they
Yeah,
did
they
sign Dallas
did.
Keuchel. He's been in AAA Omaha this year.
Yeah, there was a brief period where the two 45-year-olds were hanging out at AAA together. It was like
Yeah.
probably the oldest AAA roster single-handedly made by those two guys.
Yeah, they bring up the average age of the team pretty significantly, those two, I'd say. Um,
Their
but
major league careers
yeah,
older than
uh,
players.
we'll see how these moves end up working out. Again, it's a pretty small move just to supplement the roster. So, we'll. I'm not mad about it. I'm not
I mean,
getting excited about it. So,
they gave up a 25-year-old reliever. Like, I don't know.
yeah,
Like, maybe that really comes back to bite you, but let's be realistic here. That's probably not. Like, I don't know.
yeah,
Seems like a
yeah.
flyer. But so
So
Rich Hill,
Randall,
what was Rich throwing? I'm very curious.
Yeah,
he
how did
was
he do?
he looked okay. He had um some decent uh weak contact that he was inducing. There was one inning where I don't know, there was at least one error, and there was maybe another one or two plays that should have been made. So the defense didn't help him out tremendously. So, but he looked okay. He pitched 5 innings, gave up one earned run. So I think, he looked like a coach out there on the mound. So I'm
The dad
not.
throwing for the 8 and under little league team.
Yep.
Yeah, it was coach's pitch that night. So yeah, he looked pretty good. So I was glad that he was able to have a decent start. So
Does he still grunt after every pitch? That's all. Granted, the Twins had him during the COVID season, so like you
You
mm,
could
could hear
hear it.
everyone, and you just hear these massive grunts, and then he would really let the umpire have it if he disagreed with the call.
I
It's potty mouth
I
is what
didn't
Rich Hill is,
I didn't notice that, but maybe I need to see if he sounds like a tennis player out there.
basically. I mean, and then what's funny is like, ooh, he really threw that one hard. Oh, 84. Oh, that's a
Hmm.
fastball. Crap. It's just funny. Do we
If
want to talk
anyone
about
can
the?
throw until he's 50, I think it's Dick Mountain.
I
He's
mean,
the most,
he'll keep
yeah.
going.
He'll keep
Why
Um,
not?
going.
Why not?
Did we want to talk about the Cleveland doubleheader yesterday? They're playing right now, 2-0 Kansas City in the bottom of the third. You
Ooh,
want to talk about the
nice.
series now?
Yeah, we can go ahead and do that.
All right. Let me just pull it up here. Doubleheader. I watched the first 7 innings of this. Rhea thought that nothing was going to happen, and I was completely wrong.
Hmm. Yeah, I was on the road for most of this game yesterday, um, the first game, and the number of times I just sat there rolling my eyes in my car at the plays that were it was a very sloppy game on both ends, and um, in the top of the 10th inning, the Royals had given up the lead. They were down by a run. Shoot. They were down by a run. They had given up the lead, and Tyler Tolbert gets picked off of second base. And when something like that happens, you're just like, oh, you're going to lose after something like that happens. A guy getting picked off second base in the bottom of the 10th inning. And then there was a walk. and then Jonathan India gets up, and I don't expect too much when Jonathan India gets up to the plate. And then he proceeds to, of course, hit a walk-off 3-run home run. So it
Off of
was
Class A,
a game
right?
of a lot. It was off Class A, yeah. It was a game of a lot of ups and downs and sloppy. I think the teams were like a combined, what was the stat, like 3 for 26 with runners in scoring position.
Ooh.
So just yeah, a game that the losing team was going to feel bad about either way.
Yeah, I would just add to that, base running in particular was to me what was the most sloppy about this particular game. You spoke about Tolbert getting picked off second base. There was the double where the Guardians tied the game. Brian Rocchio's thrown out at the plate on a ball that at least our broadcast was saying, he stopped at second base on a ball that he should have probably had a good read on, was going to go off the fence, and he could have been moving, and that was the difference between him being thrown out or not. So, he scores. We're not going to a 10th inning in the first place. And then also just the Guardians' inability to advance more than one base in the 10th inning on a number
Mm-hmm.
of occasions, loading the bases. Um, Manzardo has an RBI single, but the runner on second gets held at third. There was a multiple instances of that in that inning. And then the Guardians have Ramirez, Manzardo, Santana up with the bases loaded and nobody out, and managed to score one run. So, that was kind of the biggest thing to me, is that the base running in this. And then India walks it off. Clase had two walks in that inning to go along with the pickoff. He actually didn't retire a batter. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought this was, talk about small sample sizes, but I thought this was really interesting. Class A's ERA against Kansas City this year is 12.46, because they got him opening
Mm.
week two
Oh, that's
at
right. There was that whole
so
thing where he threw it inside to. Wait, it was
he hit
India,
India.
right?
Actually, he hit India. I don't know if there was any juice
Yeah.
about that home run by India yesterday because of that,
No,
but
I think
that's
I
an
saw like
interesting
one headline or
sidebar.
like one YouTube video that had it. That's why I remembered that it was off Class A. I forget. It
Mm-hmm.
was. I think it was like vague. It was like, oh, he gets revenge, and I was like, what are you talking about? Forgotten about the he hit
There
him
was no
thing.
way that was purposeful. But yeah.
Right. Well,
Uh,
I also like when Kansas City tagged Class A, wasn't that still like he gave up like what, a third of his run total from the year before when he did it, like because he was
yeah.
just
Mm-hmm.
perfect last year.
Game two. Um, to me, well, we know why now, but Bubic wasn't very good. In fact, he was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I think that was the difference in the game. Key early at bat from Jonathan Rodriguez, where he got a 2-run single when things were looking like maybe Bubic would skate out of that first inning, only giving up one run. Um, and then, the Royals stayed in it early. Fermin had a home run himself, and then Quan put it away. And from there, it was smooth sailing. So to me, the big headline in that game was what was going on early on with Bubic. And then I thought it was interesting that Vogt used both Gaddis and Clase in both games, which shows the sense of
Mm.
urgency he is showing right now, in terms of winning some games, particularly at this point in the year and in division. I imagine both of them are not available today.
Yeah,
And
it better not be.
yeah, I imagine Cade Smith will be the closer today. But I'd also just be curious. And so far, Noah Cameron's been fantastic, but what Casey's bullpen is going to be like today after pitching 10 innings in the first game and then having a short start from Bubic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that's the sort of yesterday's game was kind of emblematic of a lot of frustrations that I've had about the Royals this year, which is the opposing team gets a couple runs early on, and then the game's just over.
Yep.
You maybe fight back a little bit, but that's just, oh, yep, first inning, game over. So I think there's been quite a bit of that. So
I feel that, like, because the Twins do the exact same. Oh, they're down 2-0 in the second. Well, I may as well just turn this off. Like, they're
hmm
not coming back from this.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, any closing thoughts
And
on that? Go ahead.
the Royals are up 2-0 in the fifth or fourth inning coming up here. So
Although I haven't been commercial, so I don't know yet.
yeah. So top of the fourth, Royals up 2-0. So
All right. So we are going to try something a little bit different. So last week we talked about who might be selling, and who might be available type thing. But I thought what might be interesting to do this week is to kind of just rank, do a tier list because everyone loves those things last year, and I'm trendy. Damn it. So I just downloaded a bunch of pictures, and I thought it would be kind of cool to just kind of go and look at these. So all the pictures are down here. I think we just go team by team. So how I have this made up in my head, it's the blow me away offer is I'm probably not trading this guy, but I'm open to it if you give me half of your minor league. And then A tier can just kind of be I want good value. Like I expect, maybe one or two top 100 prospects. B tier might be, a team's, 5 to 15, a couple 5 to 15 of the team's prospects, and then C is maybe a little bit lower than that, and then anything in D is basically we're just gonna dump the salary. So I don't know, probably just the most intriguing team that might not even be selling players. I have them listed anyway, but let's talk about Cleveland. So Dan, of my very well thought out tier list, where are you sticking some of these players? The player I have up first is Junis, but you can go in whatever order.
So Jacob Junis, I would have to say, is probably a D/cash candidate here. I don't know that there's a lot of value there. I think that, in the Guardians soft sale, they're not going to get much, but I
Right.
think he's somebody that is expendable at this point in time.
Is
And I
he's
do
a
think
one
somebody will
year?
want a relief pitcher. So,
Is he a 1 year?
yes, yeah, he's a
Okay.
1 year deal.
So we'll see. It seems like there's a lot of relief. I mean, there's always a lot of relievers, but there's going to be a couple guys that he'll be traded 5 minutes before the deadline because some team whiffed on literally anyone and they need any type of help. So I can kind of see that.
Teams are going to want to eat things, even teams that maybe aren't selling and just we need another guy in our bullpen to pitch. Uh, they'll find a way to get him, but it's not going to be for very good value.
Right. Okay. Class A. Open to it. Shouldn't have put him on here.
He should be on here. I think that's fair. Um, There's a differentiation here I want to make between two players, and I'm gonna say that Class A should be in the A tier. He is uh, tradable in the sense of kind of what I was talking about last week. The Guardians could trade from a position of strength. They have other high level bullpen arms that they can use, and their best strength, the thing that they can have surplus of, is bullpen. So you could trade Class A, but in return, you need to get a player that is going to contribute in 25 and most importantly in
Hmm.
26 who is controllable. So he is tradable, but it's got to be for the right thing. But it's not half a minor league system the way that somebody else on this list in a minute will be.
So what would you? I mean, and he has a team friendly deal, and especially because they're team options. But do you think like near major league ready? But are we talking a top 100 prospect, two of those guys, or give me one give me your best
One
high level prospect?
one guy that will be playing for the Guardians for the next 6 years of control and can start the day they get him. So I used Carson Williams with Tampa Bay last week. He's their top prospect in their organization. He's a shortstop, so he's a position in need for the team. That would be an example. One other that's come up is Dalton Rushing, who's a catcher for the Dodgers. One of their top prospects plays a position where Bo Naylor isn't necessarily lighting the world on fire right now. If you can get that type of player, that's the kind of thing where we can have a conversation about trading Emmanuel Clase.
How motivated are you to move him? Not very.
Not very. It would
Yeah.
have to be that just to talk about it. Anything less than that, and no, not going to happen.
Okay. A little bit easier. The man that never ages is Carlos Santana.
He's C tier. He's got more value than Junis does, in my opinion, in that he is a professional hitter that will contribute. I thought he'd end up back in Seattle, honestly. That's not going to happen now with Josh Naylor going there. He's got a good relationship there. I thought that Cleveland would try to do him a solid and get him to a place where he likes to play. But I do think that there's an opportunity for him to fill a void for some team, either as an extra bat off the bench and or maybe a team that's really searching for just some professional at bats from first base. So I think he's got a little bit of value to him, but not more than that.
Right. And the real fun one. I think I know where you're putting this one, but
Yeah,
I'm
this is blow me away with your offer for Stephen Kwan.
Yeah, you'd have to do like 3 top 100 prospects or something.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot.
Yeah.
I don't see them wanting to make a move there. Um, he is closer to free agency than Clase is, but he's not a position of surplus the way that Clase is. They need to
So
be adding outfielders, not subtracting them. So I just you'd really need to blow their socks off with not just top prospects, but guys again that would fill a position in need, can contribute immediately.
So you're thinking like at minimum a top 10 global prospect, not just your team, but like MLB, Baseball America, one of those guys and probably someone else.
Yes,
Top 100. Yeah.
yeah, and I'd even say again, position of need is even the bigger thing there. I'd be willing to waffle a little bit further down the prospect list if somebody was a right fielder or a middle infielder or a catcher. But yeah, that's the kind of thing they should need to be looking for.
All right. I like it. So I think after we get all of our players up here, we can futz around with the order of it, but just for the sake. Sam, who do you want to talk about first? I have three that I think you identified.
Yeah, I think these are probably the three who are most likely outside of, maybe guys who are in the minor leagues. Um,
Yeah.
Seth Lugo, we can just talk about these in the order that you have them on there. I would say about 48 hours ago, I would have felt very confident that Seth Lugo was going to be traded. However, given the current situation that the Royals are low on pitchers, they kind of need someone to stick around.
Right.
Um, there's been indications that the team would like to hold on to him. There's been indications that he would like to stay in Kansas City, and there's been some reporting that the Royals are confident that they'd be able to re-sign him in the offseason. But I think that he can probably go in B tier
Oh.
just because he only had this would be a rental, right?
Okay.
This would be a pure 3-month rental. He has a player option for next season, which is 15 million. He's
Yep.
definitely opting out of that because he's getting more than 15 on the free agent market. So I would say that if it were maybe a week ago, I would say A, just because I think the Royals are going to be a little bit more reluctant to trade him now than they were a week ago.
Would you be looking for near major league ready, or just give me your the best available prospect?
I would say probably the best available prospect, um, who is double A or higher,
Right.
you know, not someone who just got drafted, not someone who's, in single A, but, someone who's halfway there, maybe.
Had
So like,
time in the professionals.
if
Yeah.
somebody wants to, if so, I guess if some team with a good farm system offers you their number 4 prospect that's in high A, but their B option is a triple A player that's around like their 10th. You would prefer the 10th overall, or what would you?
I would I think it's a situation where the Royals need someone who can contribute next season.
Right.
So I would be more comfortable getting the 10th best prospect who's in AAA. But I think there's two things going on with this tier list. It's likelihood of being traded and, what kind of offer you're expecting.
Right.
So I think now Seth Lugo is probably a lot less likely to be traded.
Okay.
Um,
Jonathan India.
Jonathan India, I guess you can put him in C tier. Um, he was brought in to be a little bit more than what he's been. He's been, I guess, fine for the most part. I wouldn't get too crazy about his tenure as a Royal.
Hmm.
Um, but I know that I'm sure there's some team who's going to use the same logic as the Royals when they traded for him of, oh, veteran guy, change of
Sure.
scenery, that kind of thing.
How much longer
So
does he have on his team control? Is he? It's got to be like 1 or 2 years, right?
that's a good question, and I'm not 100% sure. I think that it's maybe a year or two.
I mean,
Um,
I mean,
see if
is I'd have to look. Or is he still a good defensive player? Can he be a utility, like a super utility type, or no?
he's
it's.
he's played around the infield this year, so he's played first, second, or not first, but he's played second and third this year. I would imagine he could probably play short as well.
Sure.
All right,
So,
he becomes a free agent in 27. Arbitration of it
oh
eligible in
Yeah.
26.
yeah,
I
so
just get the sense that he's much closer to be. I don't like. Are they going to tender him a contract? Like, is he going to get to arbitration with the Royals?
I
Either he's really thinking about this or he froze. I'm gonna go with he probably froze, just as he's giving an answer. All right, that's interesting. We'll see if that comes back up. If not, I might talk about the Twins here in a bit. And we're gonna leave
Yeah,
Hunter
and
Harvey.
half the roster that you added on here.
I mean, am I wrong though?
I mean, you're not really wrong.
I mean, some of these I'm gonna talk over. I'll go over quickly. Joe Ryan. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Sam. There you are.
There we. Okay,
Oh, and
we
now
can't
your
really
mic
hear you.
is all screwed up. So I'll let you get that figured out. But
is that
yeah, I
better?
don't. I just get the feeling that India's much closer to be a DFA candidate than I think he is to go through his final arbitration year. But
You
maybe
think
I'm
so?
I would
We
I would agree with that.
He gets on
Wow.
base, but he can't. His slugging is just awful.
right.
You don't think the Royals front office will be too proud that they had traded a right-handed starting pitcher and Brady Singer for him, and like they're just gonna cut bait and give up on that investment? That would be the thing to
Well,
me.
yeah, I think that's part of it is that you don't want to raise the white flag on this too early.
Sure.
But Singer's not been that great in Cincinnati this year.
How's he been
He's
doing?
made he's made 20 starts. He's 7-8 with a 4.84 ERA, ERA plus of 92.
So it's
Is
just going to be
walking
a
more.
wash on both sides then.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a wash for both teams, but again, we'll see.
Okay. Hunter Harvey.
Um, I'll put him in B tier. Uh, right next. Well, actually, put him in C tier. Put him in C tier. I think the biggest thing with him It's just the injuries. He's missed almost all of last season, missed almost all of this year, and yeah, he's a flame-throwing reliever, but he has been pretty saddled with injuries the last 2 seasons. So maybe for 3 months
Sure.
he can come in and be good, but I think for the most part I think teams always need more arms.
Yeah.
So
He's going to be
but,
like a step above Junis in that he's not going to get traded early in the deadline. It's probably going to be a last hour thing.
yeah,
It's kind of, but who knows?
which is kind of what happened last year too when he got traded to the Royals.
Oh, okay. Well, look at me stumbling upon something that happened. Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Who do you think's more likely to get traded, Harvey or India?
I think Harvey's probably the most likely to get traded.
All right. Oh God! All right, the Twins. Who effing knows?
Do we want to place bets on the over/under of how many of these guys will get traded at the deadline?
Can we agree on a line? Because I keep thinking the line is at 5.5. Major league players move from the Twins.
I was thinking 4.5.
Yeah, I would take the under on 5.5.
I would
Okay.
take the under on that as well.
Okay.
I guess I
Four and a
would by
half.
technicality too.
I think
Four and a
four and
half
a half
line.
is a good line because I think they're going to go for 4. My prediction
Okay.
is 4. I don't think they're going to be blowing it up right now.
No, I don't
I
think
think they'll
that
wait for the off season for that.
because what's also looming is like I hate how much in limbo this franchise is right now because you have a new owner and there's a fair amount of debate if you want this front office to trade players with team control because they don't know if they're going to be around for the new owner. My take is this owner is not in place yet, so it's a hypothetical owner. So I'm not going to give into hypothetical demands from someone we don't have yet. So if you can get your best possible value for some of these guys, I would do it. But it's not like they're exactly hitting 100% on trade hits for what they've been getting. I don't know. They do something. I expect them to sell. What does worry me is if they were going to sell aggressively, it's Sunday. There's a week. There's 5 days before the deadline. You think they would have probably traded someone by now? Instead, you're just starting to hear some rumblings. Which the Twins, even when they're even when they're being aggressive, they still wait for the market to play out. That's how they got Correa twice. If anyone remembers, in like 2017, they signed who what no 2018 they signed Logan Morrison and oh God, who was the Cardinals pitcher that went to them? Lance Lynn, and they signed Logan Morrison all within spring training. Like they will wait out the market, which is we'll see. It makes me nervous that they'll wait it out. That means they'll do nothing, but we'll see. Anyway, all of these players, one Joe Ryan, unless you're going to give me someone like I absolutely cannot refuse this offer. I want your 3 best prospects. I'm not looking to trade him at all unless you're absolutely going to blow me away with an offer. I'm barely picking up the phone for him, but I guess I'm open to it in the sense that I'm open to almost any trade. I'm going to wait on the relievers for just a second. Willie Castro has been about as good as a minor league signing you could possibly ask for. He's in his final year of arbitration. He's a super utility, can kind of play everywhere. Good bat, decent speed. Someone will find use for him. I'm going to say for a rental, I really struggle because, like, again, he's a rental player, but he's a good role player. He is a starting player. I'm going to put him in B for now, but I do kind of struggle with maybe overshooting him. I might put him above Santana in C. Who's my other utility? Harrison Bader, I think, is pretty firmly C. He's had a really nice season, but his career, he's a 90 OPS guy. He has I think he's hitting 121 OPS as a 121 OPS plus. It's been a lot of like streaky homers. Like he had 3 home runs in July, so like kicked him up, but he's been kind of fading. If you want him, it's because you do not have a good defensive center fielder, and you need Bader to maybe be a platoon, even though he's not. He doesn't have the best platoon splits. You're buying him for his defense. I think the Dodgers have been calling around for him. I don't know what you really get for him. You might get a decent, double A starting pitcher, like maybe who's kind of fading on the down end. I don't think you're getting a drastic amount for him. Oh, someone I didn't put on here is Christian Vasquez. That's firmly in D. I don't think they're going to do anything with Vasquez. He's made $10 million this year. He's his last year of his contract. I think his OPS plus is still and either has a 4 at the beginning of it or it starts with a 5. In the same conversation is Chris Paddock. Last year makes $7.5 million. What I don't know. I think I said this last week. If he's going to have any success further in the majors, I don't think it's as a starting pitcher. I think he's probably going to have to move to the bullpen. But if you're, let's say, the Tigers looking for a 5th starter just to get to the playoffs, he's a good buy low candidate. Like, I don't think you're going to ask more than. I can't imagine the Twins asking for more than, like, someone a team would designate for assignment like after the deadline. Like it's a really low caliber move. He just hasn't looked that impressive. He doesn't swing and miss a lot. He doesn't have a lot of swing and miss anymore, but he did have a good couple of months. We're just seeing the extremes of what Paddock is. Danny Colome, I'm going to put in C. 36-year-old, really nice season. Not a hard thrower, kills lefties as he should. Just a rental. I mean, I think he gets less than what Bader gets. Now, all right, I'm going to put Bailey Ober. I don't think they're going to trade him, and this would be a buy low option. If they traded Bailey Ober, and I don't think it's really likely, I think they could get slightly more than what they would get for like a Willie Castro. He does have 2 years of team control, and he has been a really good, consistent pitcher, except for the last 6 weeks or something going on with his hip. He's on the IL. He's making rehab starts. We'll see what happens. And now the trickiest one. So, of these 3, Griffin Jacks, Joan Duran, and Brock Stewart, I think at least one of these are being traded. And I wouldn't be surprised if 2 of them get traded. The one I think is most likely, if 2 of them get traded, it's going to be Brock Stewart. I don't think they're going to sell out all 3 of them. Stewart was a minor league signing. He throws 98. He is 33. He has 3 years of team control. Do we care about 3 years of team control for a 33-year-old oft-injured reliever? Probably not. But you could get... I think you could get more for what you would get for Bader because you do have at least some team control. He has been pretty healthy this year. They've been treating him like just a functional reliever. He's a good 7th inning guy. Jackson Duran, I'm just putting in the same tier. Organize these 2 however you want. They have 2 years of team control. I'm interested in trading them, but I want 1 or 2 top 100 prospects, which is what the Twins have been asking for. Yeah, that's my very wordy. God, there's a lot of players. Any thoughts? Who says I'm full of it? All
No,
right.
I think
I'll
these are
take your
good
word. I'll
points.
take your word for it.
Yeah.
I've got,
I think I'm less convinced that a lot of these guys will be traded. I think, yeah, I guess that's my main point is I don't know how many of them will actually be traded. I think I'm expecting the Twins to be more conservative in their selling. Is my base of it, but they do have a lot of guys that are gone after this year anyway. So
Right, that's it. They do get a lot of 1-year deals. Veloz because they hasn't had a payroll that can do more than 1-year deals. But it's a coin flip. I still think they're gonna if the line for players traded is 4.5, I'm gonna take the over because I still think 5.5 is probably what I would still vote over. But I mean, who knows? Yeah,
I've
let's
got
talk
2
about the White
things real
Sox.
quick
Yeah,
before
go
we
ahead.
move on. I think I'm a little bit less apt to sell off Class A than you would be for Duran and Jax, but I think they're close enough that ultimately that it makes sense for them to be in the same tier. Ultimately, the one thing that I would push on a little bit is I think your distaste for Chris Paddock is maybe blinding you a little bit. And I think somebody will want a guy who can start, relieve. Um,
Sure.
Pitching's just a
He can eat
premium all the time.
at the worst. He can eat innings. He can,
Yeah. And
Except
you
for
might have
he,
an organization out there that one of the Rays, the Dodgers, et cetera. Oh, we can fix him.
right.
I think
he's
that's just my opinion.
he's a good candidate for I can fix him. I think,
Sure.
and he's proven more, and he can, if someone needs just a guy to go out there and throw 5-6 innings, I think he's a good candidate for that.
Sure. The bar to me, and that's fine. Yes, I'm not. I don't think I'm under an illusion that I like Chris Paddock. He doesn't really eat innings. He has been injured too much to be eating innings. I think his career high is around 120. I think he's going to be approaching that here pretty soon. He's had 2 Tommy John surgeries. I don't know what his arm does after that, but I suspect you can still put him as a starter. And I think what I would do if I am acquiring Chris Paddock, I'm going to move him to the bullpen in September and either be a multi-inning guy or someone I can bring into a playoff game because he does his stuff does play up as a reliever. Yeah, but yeah, overall I'm not a fan of Chris Paddock, but
Paddock is pitching in October. If your starter gave up 3 runs in the first 3 innings and you need a guy to pitch the fourth, fifth, and sixth,
yep, get us through this game.
yeah, leave him in D. I get it.
The White Sox I'm going to talk about briefly. I mean, I'm
Sorry,
not
before
going to
we
be
move on, just an update on the Tigers game. They had 2 on, 1 out in the top of the 7th, but they managed to get out of it with no runs scored. It's still 3-0 in the bottom of the 7th. Sorry, I'm just holding on to this because I don't want to lose 7 in a row.
they can do it.
I
Or
believe
the
in
bullpen
them.
will
I don't
bleed
but-
again.
Yeah, or maybe they'll just give up 5 runs in the next inning. Who knows? Sorry.
Talkman, outfielder, kind of slow lugging. He is a rental. I am actually asking this to the group. My first thought is probably putting him in C. He's having a nice year, kind of has some decent pop. Anyone have any disagreements with that?
All right, let me look at him. He's a free agent in 27.
Oh, he does have a year and a half. Okay, I lied.
Yeah, I think C is pretty good. I think I put him further up in C, like above India. I think
All right.
because
I think that's the right place.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give up too much for him, but he's an average hitter. He's got 7 home runs, but he's got good amount of doubles. He's not gonna hit a lot of home runs, but he's gonna get extra base hits. And he's gonna get on base. He's got 372 on base, which is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, I think upper C is a good spot for him because he's got a year and a half of team control left, and he's doing pretty good.
I think the trickiest person on this list is Luis Robert because I also don't know how motivated the White Sox are to get rid of him versus what his actual value is. My first thought is end of B, start of C.
Because he's got team options for 26 and 27.
Yeah, I don't know if those are going to matter. Like who? If you're trading for Luis Robert, you're hoping he bounces back. I think he has a 20 million team option, so he's probably have to go to a team with a higher payroll that's even going to consider picking up that option, or they just see something so fundamentally wrong with what the White Sox are doing with him that they do. It's the I can fix him thing.
Right, maybe it'd be another Andrew Vaughn where he goes to another team and immediately mashes.
Right.
It's fairly low risk if he's got a team option too. If it doesn't work for 2 months, you never have to see him again.
Right.
Yes, you don't have to give up much for him.
But if you're the White Sox, what are you asking for? That's what I don't know. Is like, what value can you reasonably ask for him? He's had a good July and a terrible
How
last
desperate are
I
they to
think
just rid themselves?
I think the White Sox are probably just looking for whatever they can get.
Yeah.
some mid-level
I mean,
prospect or a garbage
yeah.
reliever or something.
And some of these guys on the White Sox, occasionally when I see trade talk about them, it's it's like these guys are future Hall of Famers,
Right.
and like there's a reason why they were the worst team in history last season, and there's a reason why they're not great this year. Like none of these guys, when I was looking at the White Sox trade candidates, none of these guys have had more than 3 wins above replacement the last 2 years
Yeah.
combined. So what are you really getting by buying these players?
Right.
Someone check me on this. As a team that might be possibly buying and definitely needs an outfielder if they do so, I think I'd rather have Talkman than Robert.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
So
that's a pretty easy decision for me.
Which I think means I don't want to move Talkman up. I think I want to move Robert down.
so you want to move him in front of India?
I think below India, honestly.
I would put him behind India. I think India is a
Yeah,
legitimate
that's fine.
buy low candidate. I think Robert isn't. I think
India
he's one
gets
of these
on
guys.
base. Robert really doesn't.
I don't think the order that we have these players in on the tiers is that meaningful.
No, I
If we
think
No.
like
want to do
maybe
that at
around
the
the
end, we
fringes.
can.
I mean, because
For now,
I would have India at, if I was ranking just that tier, I would move India probably all the way to the left, maybe above. Like, I think you can probably get more for India than Danny Cologne, but like to me, Bader should be a little bit higher on it. But yeah, it's all kind of picking nits at this point. I think like Robert, I have no idea. I think he's also, if you're gonna like if you're gonna flip a coin and go 5 years into the future, I can believe a headline of Luis Robert wins an MVP award, or Luis Robert signed with the with the Korean Baseball League 2 years
especially the
after.
Tigers.
Yeah. So who knows? Like what? Also, what real? How sad? Because he looks so good. He looked like a monster like 4 years ago, and it's just
Not
eh.
even 4 years ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Tim Anderson, Eloy, Luis Robert, that needs to be studied because I've never like all three of them took not just minor steps back, but like just huge step backs,
Hmm.
unplayably bad steps back. It should be studied. Adrian Hauser, I think they're going to get a decent. He's having a really nice year and not a lot of innings for them. I kind of like him here. I think he's put up 2.5 WAR. He's for someone, I'll be honest with you, I'm not all that familiar with.
Oh, wow, yeah.
He's been really good for them over like 60, 70 innings. What you get, I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's come out of nowhere, but
Yeah, he's only
that,
got half a year left, so maybe one good prospect, let's say.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Tyler Alexander, I think, is probably just in this firm.
Cash. I
Yeah.
would say Cash.
Cash, really? Okay.
Yeah.
He's not that good. He moved to the bullpen this year. He's not good. Let me pull up the stats.
If Chris Paddock is cash, then I think Tyler Alexander's cash.
Okay. So should I be moving Chris Paddock up?
No,
Okay.
Yeah, I
I've
think
made
that's
peace
good.
with it. I think you're good.
But the White Sox, he's looked better with the White Sox. I think he moved to the bullpen for them. But like with the Brewers this year, he started 4 games, then 7 games, and then a bunch in the bullpen. So he's a reliever now, I guess. Yeah, but he has 6.19 ERA in Milwaukee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that who they got back for Vaughn?
I think so. Let me
That's right.
find the transactions. No, he was released and then signed as a free
I thought they
agent.
got Savali for Vaughn.
Yeah, they got Savali.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of,
Yeah, I was about to say. Next up,
He's
is he
gone.
a cash or is he a C?
I think he's a C, as evidenced by getting in, trading him for Andrew Vaughn just a couple months ago.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So
There's an added thing of if someone wants to put him in the bullpen, he's not going to be happy about that because he wanted to be a starter. That was this whole thing of why he got traded in the first place.
right, and that's why I think the Brewers did him a courtesy. I don't think he's having that impressive of a year. So like,
He's not.
if
Really not.
if he's going to get traded again, I think he should just be happy to be in the majors and just whatever the role is. But
Put him in D, actually, then. I think, I think
yeah,
you guys are right. Yeah, I think you guys have talked me into D in this case.
I mean, we'll. I mean, it just depends on what he. I think he. I mean, he definitely. I think he's similar to Paddock in that yes, he can be a fifth starter at the back of a rotation and get you through, September. But I think you probably need to, if you're going to use him in the playoffs, he's going to need to probably ship off to the bullpen. All right. So there's our list. I think. I mean, pretty good. You can talk about whatever order you want to be. I think there'd be an interesting debate. I think it'll be interesting if Clase, Duran, or Jax get traded. If they get similar packages, I would assume they would. If I could see maybe Jackson, Duran getting a little bit more. Well, actually, no, that's true because they're team options for Clase. But like, they're going to be cheaper than Clase next year, assuming you're
I
going to
also just think it's more likely that one of those two twins gets traded in the first place.
go. Yeah,
The amount of availability, the amount of, I think the twins will do it for a little less, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because they're a little bit more apt to do it in the first place.
yeah, that's fair.
That's just my opinion.
Just do something. Like I would prefer, like especially with relievers, like give me the best value I can when I can get it. Like there's no both Jackson Duran throw 100. There's no guarantee that they're going to be
Relievers are such a crapshoot year to year. Like you have no idea what they're going to be.
exactly. So get rid of them while they're hot would be my attitude. But
Also,
yeah.
I have an important announcement to make. The Tigers have won a baseball game.
Hey, look at them.
Nobody beats the Tigers 7 games in a row. Only
Until
6. That's our limit.
we'll find
and then we
out
win
in
1
7
and
more
we
games.
lose 6 more.
So, all right. Any other thoughts on the trade deadline that we just find out what happens next week?
Dan, I know you said you did all this work putting stuff together. Did you want to show us
Can
some of that?
Can I pitch you some players that the Tigers could potentially get
All
real
right,
quick?
shoot.
We don't have to dwell on this super long, but I do want to do this exercise. So first of all, I came to the conclusion that the Tigers really ought to be looking for two things. One is relief pitching. Two is a third baseman, which I'm not breaking any news here. I think everybody knows, but those were the two things I really highlighted. So I'm going to
Those
give
are
you a
the
few
things
names.
people have been saying for the past month and a half. Yeah, that's
Sir Anthony Dominguez, Baltimore relief pitcher, 3.32 ERA. I know the Tigers have one of the worst K rates in all of Major League Baseball for their bullpen. 31% K rate for Dominguez. Has a history of pitching in the postseason for Philadelphia. I think he'd be an interesting guy. A couple others. Pierce Johnson's a relief pitcher for the Atlanta Braves. 263 ERA, 28% K rate. One would be a reunion. So Lee, I'd be curious of your opinion on this. This would be somebody that wouldn't cost nearly as much, but I think would be interesting. Andrew Chafin, left-handed
ooh.
relief pitcher.
Oh,
I like
sure.
Uh,
Chapin.
him and his mustache could come back to
And his
Detroit.
hair.
He could face Kyle Manzardo. It would be a whole thing. His home run rate is less than half a home run per nine, 0.47. Pitching for the Nationals this year, very low cost. He'd be an easy get, I think. And then the last relief pitcher, the one that I think the Tigers really ought to be considering is David Bednar, closer for
Yeah.
the Pirates.
That's a big one. I like Bednar.
Whip is below 193. K rate 34.5%. Home run rate 0.49. Now he'll be coveted more than some of these other guys, so the price is going to be higher. But if you're really serious about finding somebody to pitch late in ball games, I'd go with Bednar. Tommy Kahnle isn't long for the eighth inning, I don't think, at the very least. You're going to need another arm. He would be, to me, public enemy number one to bring in.
I do like Bednar. Where my caution would be with him is that didn't he have just an absolutely horrible last year? And he actually went down to he went to the minors and had to like
He
refine his
was
mechanics.
he was horrible last year, but he was an all-star in 22 and 23.
Yes,
They
I
kept
mean
him.
you
He was
can point
Pittsburgh.
to it being an outlier, but that would be where I'd be a little bit skeptical of Bednar. But yes,
I think
he's
last
definitely
year
one
is
of the better
more of an
ones.
outlier than a norm because
Sure.
that's a very outlier year for him.
He
Just looking at his page,
he would be a rental, so there's that.
Bednar,
But he could be.
he's arbitration in 26. I think
Oh, my
yeah,
bad. You're right. My
he's got one
mistake.
more
I was
year.
looking at his contract. You're right. My mistake on that. So he would be a cost controlled guy to a point since he's eligible.
I do like Sir Anthony. That's a good one. He's because
Yeah.
he's got playoff experience, which is good because this team needs a lot more experienced guys. And I like the strikeout rate because we need strikeout rate guys. I think of the guys that you said, those two are my
You
favorites.
like
I'd say.
Bednar and Dominguez?
I like Chafin. His walk rate is a little high for what I like.
Do you
Honestly,
guys need a lefty? I know you got Holton.
we got Holton. We got. Let me double check because I'm not. We got Herter as a lefty. I'm pretty sure. I need to double check about this because I'm not super familiar with all of their handedness. How many lefties would you say is a good amount to
2.
have? Let's see. So we got Holton and we got Herter.
Well, like
Are both lefties.
you
If
need
we really need, we got Dietrich Enns, but he's not very good, so I wouldn't want to really rely on him. So I'd
What I
say
would-
to your answer, we have 2 good lefties.
God, Chafin looks burly or gnarly. All right, one sec. Let me. So I pulled up these guys. So oh my goodness, I forgot the point I was gonna say. I guess it doesn't matter. Never mind. So I don't know if this is helpful to anyone, but
This is good.
those three compared.
And Chafin looks like he belongs in the 80s.
Yes.
On a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, if I'm not going to make a drug reference, never mind. Yeah, I can see any of them. Lee, you said you're going after Bednar.
Yeah,
34.
Bednar is the one he's the one that's gotten a lot of talk in Detroit.
Lee, how up are you on the Tigers prospects?
I'm pretty high on the top 4 guys.
So if I suggested to you that the Tigers traded Troy Melton, their number 6 prospect, and Joseph Montevallo, their number 17 prospect, for David Bednar, do you have any feeling about that, or is that just kind of?
I want to hold on to Troy Melton because he's one of our only top pitching prospects. I would trade Lorenzo or Lee. If you wanted one of those top guys, I would give you either of those. I want to hold on to Melton because he's a pitcher and we don't have a lot of top pitching prospects. It's a lot of.
Part of me thinks that's who teams are going to ask for, though. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I feel like that's who they're
fair.
calling up first in that range. Who is the other guy?
Number 17, Joseph Montevallo. Montalvo.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about him. Can you pull up his stats?
yeah, it's right here.
Yeah.
Is my screen not sharing?
I see it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Oh, sorry. Pull up his stats, not his.
Yeah.
Got it. Grades
How's
don't
he
matter.
doing? He just moved to. He's been in Double A.
Double
He
A
just
higher,
moved.
450,
He just moved up this year.
229 batting average against, 34 strikeouts in how many innings? 44. Okay. Yeah. I think he's fungible.
I'd be fine with trading him. I would offer a different prospect over Melton, but I would be fine with trading one of those, like upper.
And I will say, if there's an organization that maybe wouldn't necessarily require 2 pitching prospects, it might be Pittsburgh, given how many they already
Yeah.
have.
You know.
I'd say
maybe they would be willing to do something else.
what's their infield look like? Because I know they got How You Lee might be a good fit for them actually, because he's almost MLB ready.
Right. I would almost suggest that the Pirates are going to take a low A prospect. When are they going to think they're going to compete anyway?
That's fair.
Yeah.
Third base market is not nearly as robust. I did have one that I think will never happen in a million years, but I'm going to say it anyway. Austin Riley, Atlanta Braves.
Oh,
Oh
Um,
yeah.
they're not winning anything this year. He's
no.
a really good ball player, two-time All-Star. He's had a bit of a rougher year this year, and he just got off the IL. But I just think that was really interesting.
Mm.
Again, I
He's a
don't
free
expect,
agent in 2023. He's signed for the next
and
7
he's got a
years.
big deal.
Yeah.
They're not in all out sell mode. I thought he was an interesting name, but there's probably nothing there. Um, then there's two guys that something I clued in on is McKinstry hasn't been very good defensively at third either. So maybe you don't
Really,
get all the value offensively, but maybe you get some of it defensively.
defensively by the eye test, I thought he's been doing good.
The metrics haven't been very
Yeah.
good.
Mm.
And even so, if you really find a third baseman who's rock solid, then you can kind of move him over
Yeah,
wherever
you
you
can
want
move
him.
McKinstry anywhere. So it's like third. He's not like tied down at third base. I think he's going to be playing a lot more short because Kerry Carpenter came back and we sent Trey Sweeney down to AAA. So he's probably going to be playing a lot more short now.
So these two players on name recognition are not the same person, but this year they've basically been the same person. Ramon Urias, Baltimore Oriole,
Mm.
would be nice to pair with Sir Anthony Dominguez, by the way.
Yeah.
And then Nolan Arenado.
Mm.
Both
Yeah.
are worth 6 defensive runs saved this year. Their slash lines are basically the same. They're both 85 and 86 WRC plus. One is a 10-time Gold Glover, one is a one-time Gold Glover. They're basically the same player. One costs a heck of a lot of money, the other doesn't. So I think if you were going to do that, it would probably be Urias, but they're two. Arenado, veteran, somebody that could maybe help the clubhouse out when you guys have
Yeah.
lost 12 of their last 14. Um, but I think he's an interesting name. I don't think it's likely. I think Urias and Dominguez together from Baltimore is very
That would be.
interesting.
I would
Yeah.
be okay with that. I think I'm not. So I personally, I'm on the side of more. If we do get a bat, I want it to be a good bat, right? I'm more worried about. I want to add a good bat. I don't really necessarily want to look for a Gold Glove third baseman if you can't hit. That's kind of where
Before I move off of that, how do you feel about Justin Henry Malloy?
I'm not super attached to him. I think he can be a good hitter. I think he could be a fine hitter, but he's not really good in the outfield. And if I'm fine with trading him. I guess with my
Well,
TLDR.
the Orioles are probably going to be trading off Cedric Mullins and Ramon Laureano.
Mm.
Justin Henry Malloy may be a very good right fielder for them moving forward. And so I think that would be an interesting deal that worked out when I looked at it in baseball trade values for what it's worth. And that
Yeah.
leaves, if you really, really want an offensive third baseman, you've got one option, and that's Eugenio Suarez, which
Yeah.
everybody knows
Yeah.
that name. So
Yeah. I can't
um,
wait for when we inevitably don't trade for him, and the fan base is very upset about that fact.
there are going to be a number of teams looking for a third baseman. There's only one of him, and unless you can find a way to pry Austin Riley from the Braves, which again I don't think is going to happen.
Yeah.
Willie Castro plays third.
Yeah, everyone else is gonna be looking for a bat because I think I hope I'm knock on wood here. I think it's not too crazy to say that the Tigers could land Suarez. The Yankees are out on third baseman because they already got a third baseman.
Yep.
I don't think Seattle is going to be going after Suarez because they just traded with the Diamondbacks for Josh Naylor. So I think it'd be. I don't think they will. Yeah, I think we. I don't know.
Sure.
This is what I came up with in the trade values website. This feels like an underpay for me just because of the teams that are going to want Suarez. But Wencio Perez, Jaden Ham, and Cash is
All
what I
right, let
came up
me
with.
look up Ham.
Let me look up ham.
I do that all the time. Ham is delicious.
Yeah.
John, very handsome man.
Yeah, I would be fine. Yeah, he's in. Yeah, he's in low A. Yeah, I'd be fine with
The web-
trading him. I'm not.
The
attached
website
to
says that'll get it done. I'm a little skeptical, but that's
I'm
what
also
I came up with.
skeptical of that. Perez, that would hurt me a little bit, but I would be fine with that because I think we get a lot of good value.
Sure.
Because Perez has the potential to be a really good player, and I really like him. Just
Not to pat myself on the back, but I really like that Dominguez Urias trade.
I do like that.
That would be
I do
interesting.
like that trade.
Well, we'll find out.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys, for letting me. I did do the work on that. I appreciate the 15 minutes to go
Hey, no
over it.
problem.
Cool.
Yeah, that was a fun little exercise.
All right, well, let's move on to the schedule. And I don't even know if we really have a series to predict, but kind of. Okay, so schedule. Everyone has an off day on Friday for the trade deadline, which is actually kind of fun, just so you can watch MLB Network all day. Detroit finishing up against the Blue Jays has the Diamondbacks, the Phillies, and then have the Twins next week. Cleveland going to Colorado. What a good time for Cleveland to have a hot streak to go play the Rockies. Then they have the Twins, Mets after the deadline. Kansas City, Atlanta, Blue Jays, Boston, and then Twins at the end of that week. And then we talked about the Twins. Go to Boston. Twins right now are losing to the Nationals 7-2. Not looking forward to that Boston series. And then come back after the break with Cleveland and then Detroit. So Chicago, Phillies. After the break or after the deadline, it's the A's, the Mariners. And that's it. So I guess if we wanted to predict, we wanted to go, who was it? Cleveland and the Twins. Did we want to predict that or just kind of wait until next time? Oh, actually, no, we have to.
Well, we should do that because
Let's say I lied. Never mind. We're doing that
Yeah, I
now.
was gonna say we need to predict that.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
I just don't want to. I'm trying to.
it's okay. We like you anyways.
Do you? All right. So
Why does it keep putting your screen in iPhone landscape mode? What is that?
Probably because I have this tab. I have a new setup, so I have this tab. Like kind of scrolled out. Versus Minnesota. All right, everyone. Hurt my feelings. Lee, who you got?
Let's see. Get back to me. I need to think on this for a hot minute.
Do you?
I do need to think on this.
I'll go ahead and just give my prediction. I think it's going to be Cleveland.
Yeah.
I think Minnesota is going to be missing a significant chunk of their roster
It's gonna be a
Yeah,
completely
I think they're
different
going to be missing
team.
their roster. I think it's going to
by
be
the time we
Cleveland.
get there.
I agree. You're going to see a lot of St. Paul by the time next Saturday comes around. Lee, are you going to Cleveland?
I'm going to Cleveland as well.
Yeah. Dan, is there any reason that you won't, or you're going to try to fake me out? So go ahead.
You guys familiar with the Ewing theory?
Mm-hmm.
With the NBA?
Hold on, the Tigers didn't win the game.
This will
They
make
didn't-
sense to Sam then. I think the Twins are a really good Ewing theory candidate in this case, having all those players sold off. I'm going with Minnesota in this instance.
All right.
That's a decent shout right there.
I'm not even that hopeful. I don't know. I think you're going to see a very checked out Twins team by the
I
time
hope
you
I
get to.
didn't speak too soon because the Tigers game isn't over. I just saw my dad had texted me, Tigers win, but the game's not over yet. Dad, what are you talking about?
Oh, this would be hysterical. Like I'm not going to
No, don't. Well, they scored 2 more runs in the bottom of the 8th, so they're now up 5-0. They have to get through 3 more outs without giving up 6 runs.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
That's-
You've won this game. Don't overthink it.
No, do you know how many blow-up innings I've watched them do in the past 2 weeks? Okay.
Have you seen any of the division? Do you know how many blown up games there's been in this division over this year? But
yeah, I'm gonna be furious at my dad. What the hell are you doing?
any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
No, sorry.
No.
I'm just very confused of what my father is watching.
Maybe he's watching a replay of a game. But all right, with that, we'll happy
sorry.
deadline, everyone. We'll see what
who's still on our
remains.
teams.
What husk of a team remains of the Minnesota Twins by next recording. So talk to you
You
guys
sound
later.
so happy.